Good morning, America. I'm your host, Jason Garcia, and this is Interviewing with the Stars. Welcome to another day in the year 2044. Today we have brought back from the year 70 AD the author of the Gospel of Mark. The Gospel of Mark is one of the synoptic Gospels, along with Matthew and Luke, which pretty much means they have the same vision throughout their Gospel. Today we have our best interviewer, Tristan Mohn, with the author.
Good morning, America. My name's Tristan Mohn, and I'm here today with the Gospel of Mark author, Mark, from the year 70 AD.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Good.
So, Mark, what do you think is most unique about your particular writing style?
Well, I prefer to write short and to the point, so that way I can get my message across as easy as possible.
Oh, it's very smart of you. So, are there any certain points of emphasis that you would like to emphasize from your particular gospel?
Well, there are three main key points in my gospel. I like to reveal the human nature of Jesus. I have a lot of emotions throughout the gospel, like anger, wrath, sadness, suffering. That's another point of I like to make show Jesus the suffering, so it's easier to connect with all the people who are suffering in the time. And also I like to connect with like the thick-headedness of the disciples, because they don't get the message until like later, and they're like, bam.
What a bunch of fools,
Yeah,
am I right?
They're idiots, like kind of, but.
So one personal question I have for you is, what is going on here? What is this exactly?
This scroll is the Gospel of Mark.
That's a scroll?
Yes, it is a scroll.
All right, have it your way. So in your gospel, you have many ways of depicting Jesus. How would you describe some of these ways?
Well, I feel like the most important way to describe Jesus is as self-emptying. I mean, all the Jews, they all expect a Messiah to come and free them militarily.
That's so true.
But then Jesus comes down, and he's like, nah, I'm here for spreading the message of the kingdom, and I have to suffer and die. And they're all like, what?
I could not have worded it better myself. Alright, so when you wrote this gospel, I guess we'll call it, what was the audience you were trying to speak to at this time?
Well, I was writing this gospel originally back in 70 AD.
Wow, that is a long time ago. You guys probably didn't even have Twitter back then. So this, you have to understand, very big deal, no social media. You had to read it firsthand. Absolutely amazing.
What's a Twitter?
We'll get to that later. Keep going on your story.
Okay. Anyway, well, I was writing, like I said, back in 70 AD, and I was in Rome when I was writing this gospel. So my targeted audience was the Gentile Christians.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll continue this interview with Mark. Thank you very much. All right, so you can hit here, and then you just type, and you can tweet all this cool. Oh, we're back. This is my good friend and also interviewee, Mark. We have another question for you. It's what things in culture back in your time, no offense, influenced your writing?
Well, none taken. My writing, it's okay because I was used to getting persecuted, because those are the kind of people who I was writing to, because the Romans were just persecuting all the Christians at that time.
Wow. In your gospel, how does Jesus proclaim the reign of God?
Well, Jesus proclaims the reign of God through a variety of ways, but primarily through parables, and miracles. These are teaching moments where he's able to show that he is the Son of God.
As I said, there's no Twitter back in your time, so how did you get this information about Jesus to write it down? Because I'm pretty sure you weren't alive when he was, around.
Well, there's like a system to how this works. So there's obviously his direct talking and ministry, and that is the people who directly heard that, they used oral tradition to pass that on, and then finally there were people like me who wrote it down. So I heard it directly from Peter, who heard it from Jesus straight up. So
Straight up.
I know.
Awesome. So before we get to our final question, I personally just need to know, what is something about yourself that you feel we should know? Because, I mean, you're from the past, like, what could you tell us?
Well, I enjoy long walks on the beach. Also, my sandals, gotta keep them nice and clean. Don't smudge my sandals. It's
I feel
important.
it.
But those are two big things I like about myself.
See, he's always just good people person, and as you can tell, all around legend. For my final question, I want to ask you, how do you feel about Matthew and Luke and their Gospels?
Who are Matthew and Luke?
You know, the people who copied your paper thing and made their own?
They copied mine?
Yeah, did you live to see that, or what?
No. I die?
Well, everyone died. You gotta, of course you died. We brought you back. You didn't...
Dude. I have to rethink the whole thing now. Yeah.
Alright, so Mark went home in his time machine, but he left this, the Gospel of Mark. We actually have it, which is just amazing. Oh Lord, oh my God, this is oh wait. We'll see you next week on Interviewing the Stars. Good night, America?